and the chapter is titled. This is what the chapter is titled. Anyone remembers anything from the previous chapter? Krishna's pastimes out of Vrindavan, some pastimes that were discussed till Zoom starts. Anyone read Amish Prabhu's summary which was posted? How many of you read? Wow. Don't worry. We still keep sending. Just like I keep sending. Read, read, read. Nobody reads. Krishna is seeing though. In that chapter, there were various pastimes of Lord Krishna outside of Vrindavan, like Krishna's education at the ashram of Sandipani Muni. Then Krishna's marriage to the principal queens, the 8 principal queens, and then the 16,100 queens who were abducted. So he married them. Just 1 second. Oh yeah. Then Krishna's killing of the various other demons like Dvivida, Banasur, and then the description of the Kurukshetra war and how Krishna participated in that. What was Krishna's role in the Kurukshetra war? Chariot driver, right? And what was the most significant aspect of the Kurukshetra war? Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna spoke. And then in that chapter, it is mentioned how Krishna established Yudhishthir Maharaj as the king, as the emperor of the world. And then the chapter goes on to narrate about Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka. How, unlike Vrindavan, where Krishna's pastimes were very unregulated, and that is why Krishna loves Vrindavan so much, because the mood of Vrindavan is very, very casual, very informal, and that is what attracts Krishna. Our devotion should be formal. Our devotion should not be informal. Today I got a mood, so I chanted. Tomorrow I will not. I never get a mood to read, so I'll not read. Even a simple summary on WhatsApp, I will not read. Not like that. Right? Our devotion has to be very formal. Formal means there are rules and regulations which have to be followed. Srila Prabhupada has given us basic things that we should be doing, which is chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles, reading his books. So these things we must do. So in Dwarka, the worship of Krishna or the reciprocation that the Dwarka Vasis had with Krishna was in that mood, in a formal mood. Every day at every time, same time, Krishna would do the same thing. And then he expanded into 16,108 forms and reciprocated with each queen in that way. Every day at a fixed time, Krishna, they would all enter together and merge into one Krishna and enter the Sudharma hall. Before that, Krishna would be performing sacrifice. Before that, Krishna would offer prayers. Krishna would get up at the beginning of Brahma Murta. And the queens of Dwarka would lament why Krishna gets up so early. And so this was Krishna's mood in Dwarka. Awe and like Aishwarya. Aishwarya was there. And that is why when Mother Rohini comes and she narrates, the queens of Dwarka ask her that what is it about Vrindavan that Krishna still remembers Vrindavan? There's so much opulence here. Vrindavan is a village. Why does he remember? So then they narrate the whole sweet pastimes of Vrindavan. So this is what attracts Krishna. If some of you can please come in front and vacate that space so that people can walk. आप लोग सब थोड़ा आगे आ जाइए. All of you can together come in front. Nobody is moving. Thoda come here. Yeah. You all can just move from there. Thank you. And then this chapter ends with the description of how the Yadus annihilated each other at Prabhas. So it started with Samba and the other younger Yadus. In a playful mood, they approached sages. And they disguised Samba as a pregnant woman and they covered his head. And then they asked the sages, please say, uh, the child in the womb is a boy or a girl. So they were playful, but the sages felt very offended that this is not a joke. We are not some, we are sages. You are not supposed to joke with us. So they cursed. They said that actually inside is a iron rod, which is going to be the downfall of the Yadus. So then they all got scared, and then Samba just opened that cloth, and it was actually this iron rod, big. So then they immediately ran to King Ugrasen, and they told them that ये हुआ. He uh, he got the rod smashed into pieces, and those pieces of metal he immersed into the ocean. But somehow that was eaten by a fish, and again it became a big lump, and it was spread in Prabhas Kshetra. So when they came to know that this has happened, suddenly they started seeing all ill omens in Dwarka, all bad omens. And at that time, Lord Brahma and all the demigods approached Lord Krishna, and they told him that, my dear Lord, we had approached you so many years ago to relieve the burden of the earth, and now the burden of the earth has been relieved by you. The purpose of you coming here has been fulfilled. So now, if you like, if you wish, you can conclude your pastimes. Why does Krishna come? In Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 verse 7, what does Krishna say? यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अद्भुतानाम अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम aham I come when there is a decline of religion and a rise of irreligion. I come millennium after millennium. Paritraya sadhunam vinashaya dushkitam dharma samstha panarthaya sambhavame. Millennium after millennium, I come to protect the devotees, annihilate the demons, and re-establish dharma. So the demigods told Krishna that you have done all these things. You have achieved everything. Now, if you like, you can conclude your pastimes. So Krishna thought that there is one burden which is still left. Now, I will take care of that now, and then I will wind up my pastimes. What is that burden? That burden is the Yadus. So, the purport, which nobody read, in that purport, Prabhupada writes, actually, Prabhupada quotes the Acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, saying that what was this burden? Kamsa was a burden of evil. Bhumi Devi is burdened by evil. But this is the Yadus. What is the Yadus' relation with Krishna? There is family. There is family, right? Yadavaya, Madhavaya, Keshavaya, Namaha. Yadav. Krishna is Yadav. He's from the family of the Yadus. They has family members. So what kind of burden is this? So then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur answers, this is a burden of love. You can have burden of love? No? Yes, obviously. A mother feels burden of love for her child. At least in the beginning of marriage, a husband and wife feel burden of love for each other. After a while, it becomes another burden. But initially, at least. And he writes in the purport, burden of love, a young married couple. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes a young married couple. Because after a while, it's a headache. But initially, burden of love. Then he quotes third example. First example was mother for her child. Second, young bride and groom. Burden of love. Third, he says, the burden of wealth for a businessman. burden of wealth for a businessman. These are all nice burdens to have, right? Nice burdens to have. So Krishna is thinking, what to do about these yadus? Because they have now the Prabhupada also mentions there in the purport that the yadus were also divided into two categories. One were demigods who took birth as yadus because they wanted to participate in Krishna's pastimes, and the other were Krishna's eternal associates who have come. So now for these demigods, now if Krishna goes, then they also have to go. So then Krishna arranged that let this Samba be cursed like this and let this thing happen so that the Yadus can be taken back. They can go back first and then I will go. So these are all the Lord's plans. So Uddhav came to know about this plan. So this is what Krishna is going to do. And because this chapter is the last chapter where again Uddhav will come in the 11th canto. But this is, if you remember, this is Uddhav talking to whom? Vidur. Uddhav is talking to Vidur. So all this also, Uddhav is only narrating to Vidur. And this happened in Prabhas and that happened in Prabhas. So then Uddhav goes to Krishna. And he goes and falls at his feet in Dwarka. And he tells him, he begs him that I have come to know that this is the plan, that you are about to wind up your pastimes. So you please offer me a benediction and you take me with you. What will I do here without you? You take me with you. You are going to wind up. Don't allow me to be here after that. Take me with you. And Krishna tells Uddhav, no, there is a higher purpose for you to be achieved here. So I cannot take you. Now there is a similar pastime that happens in Chaitanya Charitamrita. When somebody comes to know that Mahaprabhu is leaving and he approaches Mahaprabhu in the same mood. Who is that? Haridas Thakur. Very good. Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur tells Mahaprabhu, I have come to know that you are about to wind up your pastimes. I cannot live without you. I cannot live without you. So you please allow me to go before you. Now here Krishna did not allow Uddhav. In that case, what did Mahaprabhu do? He allowed. He allowed. Okay, Haridas. He didn't say that, but he just did not respond. But he allowed, he sanctioned. And then Haridas Thakur left. And then what did Mahaprabhu do when Haridas Thakur left? He first lamented that, oh, just like when evil people come, the earth gets burdened. When saintly people come, the earth is glorified. When saintly people come, they become like an abhushan. They become like a decoration for the earth. And when saintly people walk on this earth, auspiciousness takes place. So whenever glorious personalities are present on this planet, there is hope for all of us that something we can also do in our spiritual life. When all the saints leave, it becomes for when there are saintly people on the planet, even Kali Yuga is somewhat in check. Like we see in Prabhupada's time, Krishna consciousness spread so rapidly. We can look at the figures and say प्रभुपाद जी के टाइम पे 108 मंदिर थे, अभी 650 मंदिर है. मैथमेटिकली तो मंदिर बड़े हैं, right? In Prabhupada's time, 108 temples. Now 650. Mathematically, we've expanded. But you see that 108 temples, means 104 temples were outside India. And ISKCON had just, Prabhupada started ISKCON. And it grew to so many countries. That has not been achieved after that. So Krishna consciousness spread so widely, that means the influence of Kali reduced for that time. Because Srila Prabhupada was there. By Prabhupada's potency, that could happen. So then Mahaprabhu bathed Haridas Thakur and he glorified Haridas Thakur and then established his Samadhi. So here, Krishna wants Uddhav to continue because he knows that now Dwapar is going to end, Kali Yuga is going to start. If everyone goes back, boom, Kali Yuga is going to be in full force. So you stay back. And he gives him instructions. If you read Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, from the 5th chapter to the 29th chapter, it is all about this, what is happening now. Uddhav being instructed by Krishna. Krishna is instructing Uddhav from 4th chapter to 29th chapter of 11th canto. And that section is called as Uddhav Gita. Just like we have Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, it is called Uddhav Gita. So, in this chapter, in the verses, Krishna tells Uddhav that you must go to Badrik Ashram. Now you leave Dwarka, go to Badrik Ashram, and go and take darshan of Nar Narayan Rishi. And after that, go and preach. And he tells him two specific things to preach. He said, because you are such a great renunciate, you preach renunciation. And then you preach the glory of devotional service. This instruction Krishna gives Uddhav, and then Uddhav, crying with tears in his eyes, weeping, he leaves Krishna's presence, knowing that this is the last time he will see Krishna, he thought. And then he left. And after that, the Yadus, they all went to Prabhashetra. And then the Bhagavatam describes they performed all rituals there. And then by Krishna's potency, they got drunk. And they got drunk and they started abusing each other. And then they all killed each other. And Krishna and Balaram were also participating in that. All the Yadus were sent back. Because what was Krishna's plan? I have to figure out a way to send them all back. They came, assisted me in my pastime, now it's time for them to go. And so all the Yadus, there was no Yadu left. Balramji also at Prabhashetra decided to leave, and then Krishna was left. Srila Prabhupada writes, all the above mentioned activities of the Yadus and Bhojas were executed by the internal potency of the Lord because he wanted them to be dispatched to their respective abodes after he had finished his mission of descent. They were all his sons and grandsons and were given complete protection by the paternal affection of the Lord. How they could be vanquished in the presence of the Lord is answered in this verse. Everything was done by the Lord himself. So this was Krishna's plan. I was day before yesterday listening to every morning I listen to a lecture of Prabhupada. So day before yesterday, that lecture Prabhupada was talking about that even devotees face reversals in their lives. Here it is seemingly the Yadus have all left. So even devotees face reversals in their life. And Prabhupada quotes the example of the 5 sons of Draupadi. Prabhupada says, when all of you face difficulties in your life after coming to Krishna consciousness, you should not be very astonished about it. Then he gives the example of Draupadi's 5 sons. Prabhupada says, could there be anyone who could be more devoted to Krishna than Draupadi? Such devotion Draupadi had. And especially after that, when she was humiliated in the assembly, after that, she would not even think of her husbands when she was in difficulty. She would directly only think of Krishna. In fact, one of her names became Krishna. One of Draupadi's names was Krishna. She had so much affection, so much love for Krishna. And what happened to her 5 sons? They were murdered by Ashwatthama. That act was so bad when Ashwatthama cut the head of the 5 sons of Draupadi and presented it to Duryodhan, that even Duryodhan felt disgusted by it. And even Duryodhan said, what have you done? My enmity is with Arjun, not with his children. My enmity is with the Pandavas, not with their children. And Prabhupada said, see, Draupadi also had to go through that. And then Prabhupada quotes the verse, Tattenu kampa susamikshamana bhunjanya ivatma kritam vipakam hridvag vabubi vidadan namaste jiveta yo mukti padesa daya bhag. He says that when devotees go through reversals, they think of it as their own karma. What do they think of it as? Their own karma. They don't blame the Lord for it. But even when they go through the reversals, they worship Krishna. Ridvag Vapubi Vidadan Namaste. They glorify the Lord with mind, body, and words. And such a devotee who goes through all sorts of difficulties in life. We are not talking about karmis. We are not talking about non-devotees. We're talking about who? Devotees. Those, you know, probably those who even read Bhagavatam. हाँ बच गए हम नहीं पढ़ते हमारे साथ नहीं होगा. Very nice, staunch devotees also go through difficulties in life. Someone may say that why does Krishna sanction difficulties in the life of devotees? Because sometimes those difficulties can even cause hindrances in our devotional life. ये कहाँ से आ गया अभी इसके वजह से भक्ति में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. But Brahma ji says those devotees who in spite of this continue their devotional service, then they are guaranteed to go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada said in that lecture that just see Draupadi. In spite of that, her devotion, her faith in Krishna did not reduce even one bit. In fact, when that happened, she took more shelter of Krishna. And Kunti Maharani took more shelter of Krishna. To the point where Kunti Maharani says, now if everything is alright and that means you're going, then let things not be alright. But you remain here. So a devotee sees Krishna's plan in everything. Or at least we should learn to see Krishna's plan in everything. If we are not seeing, we should learn to see. Because that's called as Krishna consciousness. To be conscious of Krishna. So a genuine devotee will look at any incident in their life, especially the difficult ones, and they will see that how they learned a lesson from this that helped them in their spiritual life, and therefore they are actually better off because that happened. So now what I want all of you to do is think of one not so good thing that happened in your life after you came to Krishna consciousness, and preferably something which is recent. Something, is everyone paying attention? Something which something not so good that has happened in your material life after you came to Krishna consciousness. And now you apply this and see how that actually gave you some realizations that have helped your spiritual life and how you can see Krishna's hand in that. There can be multiple examples. At least you think of one or two and try to think of some recent ones. Do it. Don't look at my face. And even if that at that time you couldn't see, now you try and see how Krishna's hand was in it. Because this will help us going forward to see Krishna's hand in things. After coming to Krishna consciousness, preferably something recent, some difficulty in your material life, how that, if not then, maybe now, it gives you some realizations that help you in your spiritual life. Everyone could think of at least one? Yes? Going forward, whenever even big or small things happen, we should understand that not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. That if this is happening, it is sanctioned by Krishna. That's why it's happening. Krishna is always in control. He's not like any controller of this material world who can sometimes lose control, sometimes not be in control. Krishna is always in control. And if Krishna, who's always in control and who's in my heart, who's seeing that I'm trying to somehow serve him, and he has sanctioned this, that means this will definitely, if taken in the right spirit, improve my devotional service. That's how we have to see things. Then we can see the Lord's hand in it. Otherwise, it will always be, oh, if this just goes away, I will be able to serve Krishna better. Oh, if that wouldn't have happened, I would have been able to serve Krishna better. So it will always be that cribbing mentality. But if I can see Krishna's hand in it, then you know, I'm much more Krishna conscious. So, like that, the Lord arranged through his internal potency to get rid of all the Yadus. And when Uddhav heard that all the Yadus have left, and now there's only one person who's left who's going to go also. Then, halfway through Badrikashram, he came running back. Shh. He came running back and he met Krishna again. And it is described. We'll read this verse now. It is described how Krishna was sitting. How Krishna was sitting, and Uddhav just, although Krishna instructed him, you go, but he just couldn't bear the separation from Krishna. Happens to us anytime? No. Absolutely no. We can peacefully leave Vrindavan at the end of a yatra. We can peacefully go from the temple back home. We can peacefully keep our bead bag. We can peacefully let the plastic still be on the Bhagavatam. We can peacefully do these things. Of course, sometimes we get those genuine feelings. I want to go back to Vrindavan, or I feel morose on the last day of a yatra. Or sometimes it does happen. The chanting mein dhyan hai, and we feel nice. Sometimes in a kirtan we feel very nice. Sometimes some section of Bhagavatam we want to keep reading. That's rare for all of you. But there are many other devotees who love reading. So that happens sometimes. But for a pure devotee, it's the other way around. It's constantly like that. And then Uddhav goes and meets Krishna, and then he narrates this verse, which you can repeat. Shyamavadatam vijara virajam. Shyamavadatam virajam. Prashantarunalochanam. Prashantarunalochanam. Dhorbhishchaturbhirviditam. Dhorbhishchaturbhirviditam. Pita-kaushambarena cha. Pita-kaushambarena cha. Uddhav is glorifying Krishna. And who is Uddhav speaking to? Vidur. Vidur. Speaking to Vidur. So he is narrating this whole thing to Vidur. The Lord's body is blackish, but is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and very, very beautiful. How many of you remember how Radha Rasbihari was dressed today? What dress? Pink and black. Helmet or turban? Sure? How many said turban? Helmet. Very good. Anything else special? Lotus feet very visible or not so much? How many say very visible? How many didn't see? Not so much today. The dressing was such that not so much. Yeah. His eyes are always peaceful. What are Krishna's eyes compared to? What is that prayer of Kunti Maharani? Namo Pankajanaabhaya, Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangri. Krishna's eyes are Namo Pankajanabhaya. Krishna's navel is compared to a lotus. Namo Pankaja Maline. Krishna is wearing a garland of lotuses. Namo Pankaja Netraya. Krishna's eyes. If you see, they are long. Like we saw Madan Mohan in Karoli, original Madan Mohan in Karoli. Those of you who came for Jaipur Yatra, and then duplicate Madan Mohan in GEV. Those of you came last week. Eyes, long eyes like that. And Namaste Pankajangri. Krishna's feet are like lotus flowers, lotus petals. For us, one of the most ugliest part of our body is our feet, and doesn't smell very good also. Lord ka feet are also like lotus, look like lotus, smell like lotus. His eyes are always peaceful and they are reddish like the rising morning sun. I could immediately recognize him as the supreme personality of Godhead by his four hands, different symbolic representations, and yellow silk garment. Just before Krishna is leaving, he has assumed four-handed form. And then Uddhav says, the Lord was sitting, taking rest against a young banyan tree, with his right lotus foot on his left thigh. And although he had left all household comforts, he looked quite cheerful in that posture. In this posture, Uddhav is saying, Krishna looked quite cheerful. Now, purposely, Krishna's right lotus foot is on his left thigh. Because now that hunter, Jara, is so called going to shoot an arrow. And that arrow is so called going to pierce Krishna's which foot? Right lotus foot. And because of that so called piercing, Krishna is so called going to leave. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogo maya samanvita mudoham na janati loko ma majam avyayam. Krishna says, Na aham prakasha sarvasya. I am not visible to everybody. Naham prakasha yoga maya samanvita. By my yog maya potency, I hide myself from mudo aham na abhijanati. From the fools who cannot know me. Lokomam ajam avyayam. That I am eternal and unborn. And therefore, Prabhupada in that purport says, for them, Krishna performed this pastime of so-called arrow piercing Krishna's foot. Prabhupada says, people forget that this same Krishna lifted Govardhan hill. People forget that this same Krishna sucked the life air out of Putna. That he went to, those of you who are in Navi Mumbai, have you gone to that Wonder Garden? Kitne log gaye hain? At Nerul. Nerul, right? It's Nerul? Wonder Garden. You gone? तो वंडर गार्डन में वो एक झूला है ना, वो ऊपर ऊपर ऐसे झूला जाता है, ऐसे 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 घूमता है ऊपर. ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज whenever you go to Navi Mumbai, go to Wonder Garden. Because when we sat on that last week, we were remembering Krishna and Trinavrata because it is just like that. It's this huge pole and there are a lot of swings attached to that, and then the ride starts and you keep swinging and it goes up and it goes up and it goes to a point where you can see entire Navi Mumbai. Oh, and then it was just, they should have just put a Krishna there on top, and called that, instead of whatever they call it, they should have called it Trinavrata. In fact, in our Panvel temple, we are going to do that. We'll make that Trinavrata. So Krishna as a baby could do all those things. And an arrow causes him to leave. Doesn't make sense. But the Lord only does these things also. This is also Krishna's plan. You want to remain atheist? I have to help you to remain atheist. So chalo, main ye karta hu. Because if I don't help you to be an atheist, you cannot be an atheist. Prabhupada says even darkness is absence of light. If there's light, there cannot be darkness. Darkness is absence of light. In the Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, again Krishna says, even those who want to worship demigods, avidhi purvakam, But I have to give them the intelligence and I have to empower the demigods to be able to do that. So here Krishna is sitting cheerfully, cheerful posture. He's left family life, he's cheerful. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that it was not just a coincidence that Krishna chose a banyan tree. And that also not an ordinary. If you read the purports, na, you will uncover all these hidden gems. But for that, you have to first uncover the plastic. The Lord was sitting taking rest of a young banyan tree. Young banyan tree. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the young banyan tree means a small banyan tree. So that is symbolic of this universe, which is one of the smallest universes. But it's a banyan tree. A banyan tree lives for thousands and thousands of years. So Krishna is signifying, he's stating by this. He could have chosen to sit anywhere. He chose to sit underneath the young banyan tree. The young banyan tree symbolizes this small universe. How many heads does our Brahma have? 4. He's one of the smallest. But it's a banyan tree. So Krishna is saying, hey, look, I am going to leave this small universe right now, but I am eternal. Just like the banyan tree is going to live for a very, 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 very long time. I am always going to be present. And in the spiritual world, I am eternally there. But in the material world, I am going to leave this small universe and perform my pastimes in another universe. So this is what Krishna is signifying with this banyan tree, young banyan tree. And then Krishna gives some final teachings to Uddhav. You can repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vedahamantar Manisipsitam Te Dadami Yattad Duravapamanyai Dadami Yattad Duravapamanyai Satre Pura Vishwashrijam Vasunam Satre Pura Vishwashrijam Vasunam Matsiddhi Kamena Vasotya Yeksta Matsiddhi Kamena Vasotvayeshta. He's addressing Uddhav as, O Vasu, I know from within your mind that you desired in the days of yore when the Vasus and the other demigods responsible for expanding the universal affairs performed sacrifices. You particularly desired to achieve my association. This is very difficult for others to obtain, but I award it unto you. He tells him that you desired my association. My association is very difficult for others to obtain. For most people, it's very difficult to obtain Krishna's association. But he's telling him, I award that to you. I have awarded that to you, and I'm awarding that to you now also. And even after Krishna left, Uddhav had his association. How? How? Remembering Krishna. Remembering Krishna. Preaching about Krishna. Telling the gopis about Krishna. Glorifying the gopis. Glorifying Krishna. In this way, he had his association. So he said, I give you this association. Similarly, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of the devotees, we have Krishna's association. Now we should figure out in how many ways can we associate with Krishna in a normal day. Like the nine processes of devotional service are there. They are all association of Krishna. We get up, we apply, we take a bath, we apply tilak, we chant the tilak mantras, association of Krishna. Because we are taking all names of Krishna, Keshavaya Nama, Madhavaya Nama, Govindaya Nama, Sridharaya Nama, Rishikeshaya Nama, Padmanabhaya Nama, Madhusudanaya Nama, Trivikramaya Nama, Damodaraya Nama. So these are all names of Krishna. Then if we go, we attend Mangalarati, we take darshan, we chant the holy name. This is all association of Krishna. We read Bhagavatam, we read Bhagavad Gita, we listen to Kirtan, we take prasad. This is all we associating with Krishna. How many people do you know, apart from your devotee friends, who do these things or who do any of these things? Even those so-called pious religious people, most of them don't directly associate with Krishna. Somebody is worshipping Ganeshji, somebody is worshipping Devi, somebody is worshipping something else, somebody is Arya Samaji, just doing yagya, not taking the names of Krishna, not taking darshan of Krishna, not going to the holy dham of Krishna. So even those who are so somewhat, not even so called, somewhat religious, may not be associating with Krishna. Just see what great fortune we have. How merciful Krishna is upon us. We should feel genuinely that I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. This is Krishna's causeless mercy on me. He himself is saying, I don't, this is very difficult. My association is very difficult for everyone to obtain. But I award it to you. Krishna has awarded it to us. We should make the most of it. So we should ensure that every day we are in regular association of Krishna, even at work, even in the office, even at the time of work, even when we are not chanting or not reading or not in the temple, then also there should be some association of Krishna. We had a few months back when we conducted in our school the Bhagavad Gita monthly session for the parents of the students of the school. So in the third chapter, Karma Yoga, we made them do this exercise. I told them, figure out ways in which you can associate with Krishna in your day-to-day life. Now, all those parents, they are not practicing devotees. They're probably not chanting Hare Krishna regularly and all those things. Without that, figure out ways in which you can associate with Krishna. And they came up with innovative ways of how they can associate with Krishna. Someone said, I will keep my phone wallpaper as Krishna's photograph, my laptop wallpaper as Krishna's photograph. Someone said, I'll make my ringtone as some kirtan. Someone said, I'll make my caller tune as kirtan, so दूसरों को भी benefit होगा. Someone said, I'll keep a picture of the Lord at my workstation, at my desk. Like this, various things they came up with. So, as practicing devotees, shouldn't it be more for us? How regularly we can, in a normal day, when we are not in the temple or it's not like we are performing our sadhana, still there are so many ways in which we can have Krishna's association. So this is our very, 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 very good fortune. And probably most of us don't even deserve it. This is Krishna's mercy on us. Somehow we got in touch with the movement of Srila Prabhupada and we are flowing. We are going with the flow. But we should always remain very grateful to the Lord, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada and the devotees for getting us into this, for getting us in this association, for getting us in the association of the Lord, which is very rare. So we discussed in the beginning Krishna's plan. Whatever happens in life, we should see how this is Krishna's plan, how it's Krishna's hand behind it, and the example of the great devotees who in distress take more shelter of Krishna, who when difficulties happen realize that, oh, this is the nature of the material world. In material world, the time factor, Kal, which is an energy of Krishna, ensures that there will never be stability in anyone's life. And all of us want stability. Instability is difficult to handle, but the time factor ensures there is never going to be stability in anyone's life. And that is why Krishna terms it ashashwatam, temporary. This world is temporary. And so when, as the expression goes, the shit hits the roof, we should understand this is the material world. Here Krishna is very kindly showing me in front of my eyes, this is how the material world is. And he's showing it to me after bringing me and giving me his association. After bringing me to Krishna consciousness, he's showing me the side of the material world. I should dedicate myself more. I have the association of the Lord in all these forms. Like we went to GV. So a replica of Vrindavan is made. But we have in the Chaitanya Charitamrita the example of Narasimhananda Brahmachari, who in his mind creates a path for Mahaprabhu and serves him. So if in our mind I tried to sing Yashomati Nandan, वो tune बैठा नहीं तो छोड़ दिया मैंने. But when we can remember Vrindavan like that. If you just close your eyes and remember Govardhan, and we start at Govind, our the bus stop, offer our pranams to Giriraj. What's the pranam mantra? Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhana Namine Ashvesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Daine. And then we start walking to the left, and we are walking, and then we after some time reach Kusum Sarovar. And then now we are not allowed entry into Kusum Sarovar. Last 2-3 years we don't go inside. So some Babaji with the white beard will come and give us jal, and then you give him dakshina, and then you'll take darshan of one Bihari, the Sheilas of Radharani and Krishna, Krishna braiding Radharani's hair, and in the mirror Radharani looking at Krishna, and we walk straight, and we go walking, and we go walking, and we go walking, and then we reach Mansi Ganga, and then all those blaring bhajans start to play, and then we take, most of us don't go down, some go down, and most of us are lazy. Wait, 22 kilometers चलना है क्यों नीचे ऊपर करूँ? Conservation of energy, battery saving mode. And then we wait for the others to go and bring water, and then we are forced to go to Haridev because we are told महाप्रभु ने बोला हरिदेव के दर्शन के बिना गोवर्धन परिक्रमा अधूरा है, तो सब चढ़ के जाएंगे ऊपर. And there Shantivardhan Prabhu will do kirtan standing down waiting for everyone to go up and come down, and we go and take darshan of Haridev, and then we come down, and then we again go out, and there's one devotee waiting showing ये side जाओ. Last minute में किसी को assign करेंगे ये side जाओ. And that's when we'll realize that Govardhan गिरिराज मिष्ठान भंडार से सोन पापड़ी खरीदना है, तो 2 लोगों को हम आगे भेजेंगे पैसे के जाओ. And then we go, we cross, and then we see Giriraj Mishtan, and some not so obedient devotees will enter there and eat something. And then we'll go and we'll take a left and we'll go below that chain, and then we'll see Giriraj on the right. We'll see Giriraj on the right. And then we go walk sometime, and then there's ISKCON Govardhan, Kamal Krishna Maharaj's Samadhi. And then we go, some of you will go up, take darshan, and then we take prasad. Standard menu fixed last 10 years. Khichdi, pakoda, some lemon juice, priams, and son papri. And then after that, someone will announce, chalo, kirtan is starting, and then we'll go, and then we'll enter the dust path, the dust walkway, the best part of Govardhan. And then we walk, and there's Giriraj on the right side, and we're walking, and now Shantivardhan Prabhu's kirtan is going into next gear, and then we walk, and then we come out, and then we go, we cross, we come to Shankarshan Kund, and then Shankarshan Kund, there's a photograph. पहले ऐसा था, अभी ऐसा हो गया है. हमने इतना मेहनत करके इसको अच्छे से बना दिया. And then we go inside, and we enter Madhavendra Puri Samadhi, and then we go to Govind Kund, we go down, we take water, we sit below that banyan tree, and Dinbandhu Prabhu will come, and there will be katha of what topic? Indra's pride, Krishna lifting Govardhan, breaking Indra's pride. And then there are all these other sounds. Which are those other sounds? The sugarcane juice. And then someone will go and tell him, हम तेरा सारा शुगर केन लेंगे तू भी बंद कर कथा खत्म होने से तेरे से ही लेंगे. And then the cows will come there, and then we will have sugarcane juice, and then again Kirtan will start, and you'll walk again on the dust part with Giriraj, now at the highest. Giriraj is highest over there, ahead of Govind Kund. And then we walk, and then Shantivardhan Prabhu will start singing Narsimharti, because on the left there is Narsimhadev temple, and then those who have some courage will go walking there also and take beautiful darshan of Narsimhadev. And then the pujari is merciful on you. He'll lift Narsimhadev's dress and show you his feet. And you come down, we'll cross Naval Kund, Apsara Kund, and then go to Puchli Ka Lota Baba. And then pay obeisances there. Rup Goswami says, Utsaha, Nishtaya, Dhairya. Patience, enthusiasm, confidence, and patience. Dhairya. And Puchli Ka Lota Baba is the epitome of that. He's still waiting. Krishna will come. He said, Abhi, I'm just coming. आ रहा हूँ. 5,000 years से is Madhumangal waiting there. And then we go and we again cross. We see this side of Govardhan, the tail of the peacock. And then we go inside. Again, sandy pathway. Govardhan is on the right. And then if you're lucky, you will observe a Neel guy over there. Neel guy at that spot. And then on the left, there is Surbi Kund. You take water of Surbi Kund. All offenses to devotees, especially, somehow can be counteracted. Surbi Kund. Because Surbi bathed Krishna and Indra was feeling very, very shameful, ashamed of himself. And then we walk again, sandy path. Then now some people are behind, some are in front. And then suddenly the Kirtan party, as if, injected, will start running. And then again there'll be more groups. कोई आगे भाग गया, कोई पीछे रह गया. Someone is saying, छोड़ो अभी यार जाने दो. And then you come out, and then you cross the market area again from where we entered that chain. The other side of the chain again you can see Giriraj Mishtan, but hopefully nobody goes there. And then you cross, and that's when most people wait for orange juice and for more juice. And then you keep walking straight. Now Giriraj is more distinct. Before that, you cross Mukharavind, and then everyone tells you, don't step on there, don't go there. And you walk straight, and then you come to Uddhav Kund. Uddhav Kund, talking about Uddhav. And then we take darshan of Uddhav Bihari ji. And then Uddhav Kund mein you take water, and now you are reassured. अभी बस खत्म हो रहा है, परिक्रमा पूरा होने आया है. And then you walk a little ahead. There's that Jagannath temple, and then you go ahead. Then the Teen Goswami Samadhi is there. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Next to that is Ma Janma's Betak. Ma Janma, the wife of Lord Nityananda, her Betak is there. There is our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhajan Kutir there. Raghunath Das Goswami's Bhajan Kutir there. We go and we pay respects to all those places. Then we come out, and then we cross Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj's Samadhi. And then you see Lalita Kund. And then you see Radha Kund on the right. And then you cross Mahaprabhu's Betak, and you come to the Sangam. And that's where we remember Srila Prabhupada. Because Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur gave him the order. Which order did he give him there? If you get money, print books. You get money, print books. 1935. And then we come out. We are now very happy. And then we complete parikrama. Again we bow down, and what do we chant? Namaste Girirajaya Shri Govardhana Namine Asesha Klesha Nashaya Param Ananda Daine. And then most devotees are in Param Anand that time. Govardhan Parikrama pura ho gaya. But then again we are made to walk little ahead. And then that's where we are served prasad. And after that nobody walks. Everyone takes Toto and goes to the. Now just by doing this, we all get the benefit of doing a Govardhan Parikrama. This is called associating with Krishna. Just by this simple exercise, which you can do every day if you want. Okay, today I'm going to Barsana. And then, okay, I go up, I wait for Deepbandhu Prabhu, and then he's going to sing, which one? That one. No, not that. श्याम गौरी नित्य किशोरी प्रीतम गौरी श्री राधे जय राधे राधे. We will sing, sit there, and he will sing that, and then we'll go ahead, and then we'll go to the first peak. Then he'll give a pastime there. Then we go to More Kutir, and he's going to talk about Krishna and Radharani as more. Then we go to Dan Gati, and there he's going to talk about how Krishna gave Radharani away in charity, and then we go to Jaipur Mandir, and then we go to Man Mandir, and there we'll sing Radharani Ki Jai, and then we'll come down Barsana Parikrama. Like that, just by this, that eagerness is there to associate with the Dham, to associate with the Lord. That is associating with Krishna. This is available to everybody. It's just how conscious are we that we should be doing this? How conscious are we of associating with Krishna? Or is it that सुबह 16 माला हो गया, बस उसके बाद 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 घंटे हो गए, Krishna did not even come in my mind? It should not be like that. So associating with Krishna. And so then again Krishna tells Uddhav, you can go now. Please go. Go to Badrikashram. And then Krishna tells him that, see, actually in my stay of 125 years here, I have never gone to Badrikashram, Badrinath. I've never gone there. So I want you to go there and tell them, they are also my devotees. I want you to tell them about me, and in this way they can associate with me. So you go to Badrikashram. So then finally, again with tears in his eyes, Uddhavji bids farewell and goes. At that time, Maitreya Muni is also there. Maitreya Muni also comes there. And then Maitreya Muni is looking at this dialogue between Krishna and Uddhav. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport writes that through this, Maitreya Muni got a hint that actually hearing and chanting about Krishna are the most important activities in spiritual life. And that's when Maitreya Muni heard from Uddhav. And he could understand that you don't need to physically associate with Krishna to associate with Krishna. You can associate with Krishna simply by hearing about him. What is the best example of someone who heard about Krishna and developed ultimate love for him? Rukmani Devi. Rukmani Devi just heard about Krishna and she said, it's Krishna or nobody. It's Krishna or nobody. Sometimes this decision we can also make. It's Krishna consciousness or nothing. So then Maitreya Muni hears from Uddhav, and then at this point, Uddhav reveals to, now who is Uddhav telling all this to? Vidur. At this time, Uddhav reveals to Vidur that Krishna has left. Krishna has concluded his pastimes and he has left. Now you imagine Vidur, that Krishna jinka naam hai bhajan, we sing, no? रूख साग विदुर घर खायो ऐसे श्री भगवान को मेरा बारंबार प्रणाम है. Vidur and his wife had so much love for Krishna, that Krishna was accepting banana peels from his wife. And Vidur had so much love for Krishna that Krishna accepted this saag, rukha roti and saag ka meal at his home. That much love he had. We discussed a couple of chapters ago that when Duryodhan insulted Vidur, Vidur just walked out of the door, and internally he was feeling happy that yes, Krishna has arranged this to bring me closer to him. What has Krishna arranged? He's humiliated me. He's thrown me out of the kingdom. The job that I did faithfully for all these times is completely ruined. In front of everyone, I have been insulted and humiliated. And he concludes, this is Krishna's mercy on me. And so that Vidur now realizes that Krishna has left. And so, understanding that he was remembered by the Lord while quitting this world, Vidur began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. Uddhav tells Vidur that Krishna remembered you before he left. He remembered you just when he was leaving. He was remembering you. He was thinking about you. And when Vidur heard that, he started weeping in ecstasy of love. After passing a few days on the bank of the river Yamuna, Vidur, the self-realized soul, reached the banks of the Ganga, where the great sage Maitreya was situated. This photograph, this painting, is of Krishna being with Bhishma Dev at his ultimate hour of need. This is Krishna's Bhakta Vatsalata, his unflinching love for his devotees. For Bhishma, Krishna was there. For Vidur, Krishna thought of him. Either way, Krishna every now and then creates some situations, does something in our life to remind us that, yes, I am watching your life. I am interested in your life. I want you to progress. It's just a matter of us realizing it. Like we did. We see Krishna's plan, we see his hand in something. This is Krishna reciprocating with. Srila Prabhupada, throughout his life, so many things happened. Prabhupada said, Krishna was very, very merciful to me. What? He took away my business. He made me a beggar. Krishna's mercy. Good things also. I don't know how this happens. Krishna's mercy. All these amazing temples, my Guru Maharaj has sent all of you. That's Krishna's mercy. Prabhupada used to say. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So many times I've heard him say, Krishna has been very kind on me. Many times when I used to talk to him and I used to tell him, Maharaj, this is amazing. Now, once I remember, coincident, when the Dehradun land was got, when ISKCON received the land, Maharaj was very happy. Maharaj left his body in Dehradun. That same land, Maharaj left there. So Maharaj, I went to meet him. Come, sit. And then he called his servant. वो laptop लेके आओ. And then Maharaj played the video. See, we have acquired this land in Dehradun. I said, Maharaj is amazing. When first he will explain all these things, and when you glorify him, it's because of you. Krishna has been very kind on me. Krishna has been very kind. So in difficult situation also, Krishna has been kind. In great things also, Krishna has been kind. In difficult situation, नहीं अरे यार मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा, ऐसे ऐसे क्यों हो रहा है. And in good situation ऐसा नहीं ना मैंने किया, हाँ ठीक है भगवान है पर मैंने किया, अरे क्यों भगवान को क्रेडिट दे रहे हो, मैं हूं ना. In difficult situation also, it's Krishna's kindness to me. And in good, when good is happening in my life also, Krishna has been kind on me. So this is a devotee's outlook. So Vidur is realizing that, and then that time Maitreya Muni goes there, and now Vidur has all these questions. If you remember, first chapter, second chapter of this canto, Vidur has all these questions he wants to ask Uddhav, but Uddhav is now showing him, and actually Maitreya is senior to me. So now I have been given a mission to go to Badrik Ashram. I need to go there. All your questions will be answered by Maitreya. He just heard my dialogue with Krishna. That whole Uddhav Gita. Which canto? 11th canto. Chapter 5 to 29. That whole thing Maitreya heard. And that whole thing Maitreya will now speak to whom? Vidurji. And that is the rest of this third canto. Any questions? This concludes this fourth chapter of the third canto. Until we reach chapter, I think 17 or 19 or 13, I think 13, which is the pastime of Varahadev. The next 7, 8, 10 chapters are only philosophy. Any questions? Yes, Mataji. So we just have to ignore the mind at that time by reasoning with it that these things will happen. They've happened in the past also, probably going to continue happening, and this time will also end. This phase will also go. But the reality of my focus being Krishna consciousness doesn't change just because I'm feeling some anxiety right now because some situations in life have changed. Uh, at that time, reminding the mind that actually these situations should probably make me closer to Krishna. So let us try and do that. And throughout that situation where there will be some anxiety, constantly the mind will keep throwing tantrums. And constantly we have to try and ignore the mind or try and reason with the mind. But that will be there. Till we become more stronger and our faith in Krishna increases, these phases of life will come. After a while, when faith increases, then some of these things will not shake us that much. Right now we are at Shraddha stage. Adau Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Then Ruchi, Nishta. Nishta is firm faith. Shraddha is basic faith. So from Shraddha to Nishta, you go through Sadhu Sang, Bhajan Kriya. Sadhu Sang means association of devotees. Bhajan Kriya means like what we're doing, chanting. Then Anartha Nivritti. The Anartha start getting reduced. Then Nishta. There is some attraction for Krishna. That is faith. That is stronger faith. Nishta. So till that faith increases, every now and then the mind will throw up garbage. We should understand we are not alone. There are many who are going through the same process, many who have gone through it and come out on the other side successful. At that time, if it's really bad, I should just ensure that damage control mode is there. I don't leave Krishna consciousness. I don't get carried away with the unnecessary noise the mind is making. That's damage. At least that should go on. And maybe that at that time I take more shelter of Krishna consciousness, because genuinely when we feel some attraction to Krishna consciousness, when we are practicing for some time, in difficult situations we tend to gravitate to Krishna consciousness, and suddenly Bhagavatam reading seems nicer. Suddenly you look forward to your japa. Suddenly you look forward to coming for programs. We look forward to that uh, online darshan we take. That happens. So then that's a way to then calm and pacify the mind. Yes, Prabhu. Okay. So the first question, yes, the holy name can burn every sin, but we should not chant the holy name to burn sins, because then it becomes an offense to the holy name. So we should chant the holy name only for one reason. As devotees who have been around for a while, the only reason we chant the holy name is to develop love for Krishna. Because yeah, then it will not have that same effect. It will still act. The the sin will still get burnt. But the point is, uh, you are getting something very sasta versus what you can get. Just a very like a very crude example. I remember in college, uh, I had this one friend, like many friends. So one of the girls, her father owned a Wrangler showroom on Linking Road. He owned the shop and he had set up a franchisee. So this other person liked her. So third fellow told him that if you you know get married to her, अच्छा होगा. So this fellow thought, yeah, if I get married to her, I'll get access to all the Wrangler jeans. The other fellow made him realize, boss, you will get a shop on Linking Road. That's much more valuable than Wrangler jeans. So just this chindi example. Burning sins is like the Wrangler jeans. Whereas you get holy name, you get love for Krishna. That's very, 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 very more, much more valuable than just burning sins. The first question. Second question, Mahaprasad should be immediately honored as soon as we get it. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we read the pastime of Sarvam Bhattacharya after Mahaprabhu converted him to become a pure devotee. Once Mahaprabhu reached his house when Sarvam Bhattacharya was sleeping, and Mahaprabhu woke him up. Sarvam, get up! I've got Jagannath Mahaprasad for you. Oh, give, give, give. And he ate it while he was still on bed. He had not woken up. I mean, he didn't get out. He didn't go and take a bath, brush his teeth. Ideally, we should not be eating anything. Of course, I don't know how many, but that hota hai aisa. Now, as devotees, you should be doing. You should not eat anything before you take a bath, before you offer obeisances to the Lord, before you do some sort of spiritual activity. Then you can eat prasad. But most worldly people, they glorify the concept of bed tea, and that's considered an opulence. नरक में जा रहे हैं वो करके. But Sarvam Bhattacharya ate it. And then Mahaprabhu said, अरे 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 क्या हो गया? All your rules, regulations सब टूट गए. नहाया नहीं है, ब्रश नहीं किया है, पूजा नहीं किया, खा लिया. He said, Lord, this is Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad is above all rules and regulations. So Mahaprasad ke liye I should not wait. I have to immediately honor. And then Mahaprabhu became very pleased. And he said, yes, now Sarabham, I understand you are fully converted to a devotee. So technically, Mahaprasad is for everybody. But when we get Mahaprasad, we have to honor it very respectfully. Now, feeding it to animals would be considered as less respectful. So therefore, DT ka Mahaprasad, we should honor. We want to benefit animals. Yes, you can buy some fruit, you can buy whatever the animal eats. You can make something, you can make a mental offering to the Lord, and you can feed that to them. That's fine. But Mahaprasad, that which is in the altar on the plate of the Lord, that I would say immediately you should honor. The other way you can benefit animals is by loudly chanting the holy name. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj used to regularly do that. Regularly. I know of, many times when, like in Janmashtami time, our temple gets, occupied. So he used to go in that garden next to the temple, and he would chant there. And so once it happened that there was some insect. You come to know when an insect is about to die, वो उल्टा हो जाते हैं, ऐसे 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 करते हैं. So Maharaj was walking there, and he saw an insect like that, and he stopped walking, and he was with 2-3 devotees, जोर से जप करो, and they all loudly started chanting Hare Krishna. And after that also the insect kept. Then Maharaj told him, I need to go, but he made one of his servants stand there till the time the insect left its body and said, जब तक वो जाता नहीं है शरीर छूट, तब तक यहाँ खड़े रह के जप करो. And that devotee waited for 15 more minutes and chanted there till it was obvious the insect has left, and then he came back. So this is how we can benefit animals. Hare Krishna. Any other question? Yes? During? While working. Yeah, so these are few things. You can keep a picture of the Lord on your table. If you're doing some monotonous activity, you can probably listen to kirtan on your phones while you're working. Things like that. Also, before starting work, we can also remember that the ability to work and the intelligence to work is also given by Krishna. So at the end of the day, we can thank Krishna for, even if it's a mundane day, we can thank Krishna. But these are few things. Just by looking at the picture of Krishna, we can remember him while we are working. Because as Krishna tells Arjuna, Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. Think of me and fight. So you have to perform your work. At that time, you can't be, distracted from it. But by these ways, you can think of Krishna. Okay? All right? Hare Krishna. Let's conclude by words from Srila Prabhupada. Vidura was overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of him at the last moment. Although he thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord and by his causeless mercy. Vidur accepted this as a great favor, and thus he cried. This crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada ki. So today's prasad has been sponsored by Mandar Parikar Prabhu. One second. Yeah. Mandar Parikar Prabhu and his wife Akshata on behalf of their newly born daughter Revati. So Mandar Parikar Prabhu is not here today. He's online. Okay, great. So let us pray for Revati that she gets affection for Revati Raman. Krishna is Revati Raman. उसमें भी है ना वो जय राधे रमति रम्या तारा तारा तम्या सहस अगम्या श्री राधे. So Krishna is Revati Raman, and so his daughter he has named as Revati. So let's pray for Revati and for Mandara Prabhu and his wife that they are blessed with pure devotional service. And let's pray to the Lord to bless him for sponsoring today's prasad for the devotees by once chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.